Good morning. I am so happy to see you again. I am Mickey. I am not your mama's minister, and a happy St. Patrick's Day to you. Today we are going to be talking about St. Patrick, of course. Why wouldn't we? His feast day? Fuck yeah. So St. Patrick was out working with his dad's employees and servants and so forth and so on, and then this horde of people come and kidnap him along with all of the rest of them and sell them off into slavery to uh, the pagan Irish. And he spends 6 years taking care of animals for the pagans in Ireland. And he is not Irish. He's kidnapped from Great Britain or Britain. And so he spent 6 years in slavery, and then he escapes. And then a couple of years go by, and he has a vision saying that the Irish people are hungering for the word of God, for him to come back and return to them and bring with him the word of God, the one true God. And so he does. He comes back to Ireland, and of course the druids and the pagan priests and the pagans are fucking pissed off that he's fucking coming in and stealing their show, taking over the show. And but he is so fucking charismatic, and he is so pretty that he is converting the sons of royalty. That's like a huge, big, gigantic deal. He's converting wealthy women. Huge, big, gigantic deal. And what's funny is that even though most pagans would sit there and be like, fucking St. Patrick came in and changed polytheism and converted everybody to Christianity, he also did a lot of good. He was successful in converting so many people to Christianity that, of course, it spread. And within 200 years, Ireland had become the one European country that peacefully converted to Christianity. Like, people just fucking embraced it. So the whole legend behind St. Patrick getting rid of the snakes in Ireland, they've already shown scientifically that there weren't snakes there. So we have to believe that the snakes are representative of pagans, of course, and also of sin, because that was a big part of his preaching, is, against sin, as it is for a lot of our favorite saints. And so he he did do some good. He was very big into women having a voice and having a place in society. He ended slavery. He was helpful in ending slavery. None of this is stuff that he did all on his own. You have to remember that these are just legends. These are stories, hagiographies, and so it's not like we've got factual, oh yeah, this one person came in and changed this entire country. He was definitely a leader in that. He was definitely a big part of that, but he certainly didn't do it alone. And we always need to remember that there are many, many people that work together to make things better. So like I was saying, he really pushed for an end to slavery, as he would, since he spent 6 years in slavery. He helped put an end to the human sacrifice that was occurring. He helped put an end to a lot of the battles and the wars going on between the Celtic tribes. So, yeah, he did do some good. And so that's why when people are like, shit-talking the saints, do I like organized religion? Of course. We know that I can't stand organized religion. It is certainly more negative, has more negative effects, in my opinion, than it does positive. But that being said, I really like that there is a balance to the legends, that it isn't all a negative thing. And so, yes, did he end up destroying thousands of years of polytheistic uh, practices and faith and stuff like that. Yes, and you know that I'm not big on somebody telling somebody else how they're supposed to believe and forcing them to believe things. Um, However, he also did a lot of good. And then he was very very supportive of the community of, I already mentioned, women. He was supportive of the community, the marginalized communities, the slaves, the poor, um, people who were not taken care of by their society. And so, as you can see, the legend behind St. Patrick is not necessarily all bad. And so don't feel bad if you are wanting to do some sort of ritual work or spell work or mystical work today, using St. Patrick, and you're like, oh, but he was very anti-pagan. Given. However, as we know with any of the folk saints, he has also been adapted to modern uses as a folk saint, even though he's a patron saint, against polytheism, against pagans, against snakes, against sins, a lot of things that I like for, personally. But he is also a fantastic person to work with, spirit to work with, when you are wanting protection against snakes or protection against evil. He's been adapted to be a patron saint of the LGBTQ plus community. He has been adapted to be a patron for anybody wanting to resist temptation or recover from addictions and so forth. And so if you're wanting to work with St. Patrick today, whether it is due to the fact that you have some Irish genetic background or family background, if you are wanting to work with him just because you like the color green, or because you like celebrating St. Patrick's Day, or you like the history of it, whatever it is, feel free to work with him. Don't feel like you're bound by the what the church says that he is patron of, because or what pagans may say, oh, don't work with him because he's very anti-pagan. Most of the saints were. And so don't feel like you can't work with him. Don't feel like you can't do any mystical work today for that. Today's an awesome day to do any petitioning for him having to do with protection for the next year of protection against evil. So if you feel like you're constantly dealing with, depending on your job, police officers, I'm trying to think of other ones, but anyway, if you feel like you're working a lot with people who may have negative intent towards you, or if you have family members or friends who are constantly putting off kind of that bad vibe or that what we might call evil. I really don't like, that's such a harsh term for just being bad. But he is a protector against evil of any sort. So whether you're being bombarded spiritually, or whether you're being bombarded physically, mentally, emotionally by what you would feel is evil, then feel free to petition him. You can find a St. Patrick's Day or St. Patrick's candle in most Catholic supply stores, as well as most botanicas. You can also find them sometimes at Walmart or other places like that. So I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to talk about having to do with him. Anything related to his mythology, to his history. So if you are wanting to be more kind of silver-tongued, St. Patrick was known for being a very, very good and powerful orator. So you can go ahead and petition him for that, for having more of a silver tongue, being able to convince people. This is great for salespeople, marketing people. If you are, because he was able to aid and lead in the conversion of an entire country and an entire group of people to from polytheism to monotheism. Uh, if you're wanting to petition him for any type of manipulative work, which many jobs require that. Many jobs need that. You do better at your job if you're able to manipulate it a little bit better. And so all of that, and think about who he was, think about what his legends are. If you have symbols or four-leaf clovers, you can go ahead and draw it up on a piece of paper. Go ahead and use green. It's a nice, and you can use the colors of the Irish flag. It's a nice added boost to that, just with the color energy. And so you can use it for, go ahead and draw up a shamrock if you don't have an image of St. Patrick. And I know it's, 11:30 now my time, so West Coast. And so it's a very simple way to use the energy that is already out there, because think about all of the energy that people are putting into St. Patrick's Day parades. The Irish American community in many states is enormous on this day and putting out a lot of positive energy and a lot of celebratory and powerful what's it called? Pride type of energy. And so you can work with that. You can summon that and kind of use that energy that's swirling around the world right now today, and play with that and work that into your own workings. And so I think that that's all that I wanted to talk about today. And have a blessed day. Try not to do anything too dangerous. I'm all for having a good party, but please don't drink and drive. Please don't drink and boat. Please don't, act like a douchebag. Again, always. Please don't be a douchebag. And I think that might be it. And have a beautiful St. Patrick's Day. And as always, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I love you, and many blessings to you. And again, happy St. Patrick's Day.